Thank you, Mukul. Good afternoon, everyone. First, dignitaries on the dais, thank you very much for inviting me to Aurangabad on what is a very special milestone, as I am understanding now, for all of you. Special thanks to those who came to the airport to receive me. It was not necessary, but thank you very much for that. And a good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for coming, being part of the audience, and spending some time with all of us today. I'm looking at the future of Aurangabad. It's upstairs. I guess these are kids of the college. And believe it or not, I have been watching you guys. And I think you are good kids because at least 90% of you are not on your mobile phone right now. So that's a good sign. So because you are here, I'm going to take advantage of your presence to share a thought with you. I don't know what you're studying at this college, but I want to tell you one thing. I'm not here to give you a management speech because I don't believe in management. And if you're studying management, sorry to tell you, it's a waste of time. Because engineering is a skill, medicine is a skill, architecture is a skill, singing, painting and dancing is a skill. Even playing cricket is a skill. But management is not a skill. Management, like life, is an experience. So gather some good experience while you are here so that you can keep the good work that these people have done going in the future. It is a great privilege for me to be with all of you this afternoon. When we were having a cup of coffee before coming here, Tripathiji said to me that in Aurangabad he is not known as Tripathi, he is known as Bajaj. Sir, aisa kaha aapne. But sir, today I want to tell you, you are not here as a senior Bajaj. I am very happy to be here as junior Tripathi. And I am not saying this only to win your applause. So you will have to agree. In the 20 years we have known each other, I have never once called you by name. I have given you many opinions, but I never gave you an instruction ever. We have met many times, but I never called you to my office ever. I always came to yours. And even today, आपके पहले मैंने फेटा नहीं बनवाया सर. So I am here as a member of the Tripathi family. Mr. Tripathi also told me over coffee that this is my first public appearance in Aurangabad. So far, if I have come here, it is only to visit my company. And he said to me that there are many wrong impressions about you floating around this place. Of course, I don't have to ask him who is spreading these rumors. So I thought that to share with you some of my experiences or some of my thoughts about Sir, I will tell you a little bit about myself because he has told me this is my first, maybe my last chance to do so. Not so? Not so. You can decide at the end of the speech, sir. And through telling you something about myself, I will try and tell you something about him and me. One way I can describe myself is that 4 attributes are very important for me. The first attribute is of focus. I always tell people, when I was in college in Pune, I was without doubt the most popular student in college. But I also tell them it had nothing to do with my academics, not even sports, not even any other activity. It was only because at that time there was a 10-year waiting list for the Chetak. So every professor who wanted a scooter had to come to me. And that is why I was so popular. So I grew up in this environment. Of course, those days didn't last. When I joined the company in December 1990, very soon after that, I asked my father, what do you want me to do here? Because everything was good. So it seemed to me from the outside. Everything was great. People had a very high opinion about Bajaj Auto. What am I supposed to do here? Just sitting around wasting time, this was not my interest. So my father said to me that his father told him, do what you think is best, but be the best in what you do. I thought this is a good piece of advice. So I started thinking about this. And somewhere that led me to the first project that some of us put together, which was eventually launched as what is now known as the Bajaj Pulsar. So the Pulsar motorcycle was born out of the desire to do something special, to make something that was the best from our point of view. When this motorcycle was launched in November 2001, I phoned one of my friends who is also a dealer of Bajaj Auto in Nagpur. Maybe some of you know him. His name is Mr. Ajay Patni. I call him Ajay Bhai. So I called up Ajay Bhai, I still remember, from my office. And I asked him, Ajay Bhai, गाड़ी आ गई? He said, आ गई. कैसा लग रहा है? He said, बहुत मजा आ रहा है राजीव भाई. I said, क्यों? He said, आज शोरूम में ऐसे customers हैं, young boys, young girls, college crowd. Such customers I have never seen in our showroom before this, to buy some scooter or M80 or this kind of products. I was very happy. I asked him, how many vehicles you have sold? He said 0. Not even one. I asked him why. You just said that it's a fantastic product. You have so many people who have come to see this product. How come nothing is sold? And he told me, सब लोग एक ही बात कह रहे हैं, बजाज की मोटरसाइकिल और इतना ज्यादा दाम. And this made me think. I thought Bajaj is a great company, but people think Bajaj is a great company as long as the price is very low. After a few days, Ajay Bhai phoned me. He said, बहुत अच्छी खबर है, पहली गाड़ी बिक गई. I said, wonderful. He said, but एक अजीब बात हुई है, मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ. I said, please tell me. In those days, you would remember, at least some of you would remember, the logo of Bajaj was a hexagon which was blue and white in color. This was the logo of Bajaj. Now it is what we call a flying V. So this logo of blue and white was on the fuel tank, on the petrol tank of that Pulsar. And Ajay Bhai said that after the customer bought the vehicle and took it outside the showroom, the first thing he did was to remove from his pocket a circular blue and white logo of BMW, and he stuck it on top of the logo of Bajaj. In other words, he wanted the entire motorcycle, but he didn't want Bajaj on it. This also made me think. And I asked myself, what is the problem? A great company with a fantastic reputation makes a wonderful product. I have a good dealer. And this is how the customer is reacting. So as I was thinking about this, I started reading some things. I read Dr. Michael Porter to say, the strategy of a company is best understood by what it decides not to do. कंपनी इस बात से पहचानी जाती है कि वो क्या नहीं करती है. I subsequently read something Steve Jobs said. He said, I am more proud of the things I have not done than of the things that I have done. His successor, Tim Cook, was once giving an interview to a journalist sitting across his table in office. And he said to the journalist, the reason we are so successful is because everything we have done can fit on this table, from the iPod to the iPad to the iPhone to whatever else it is. Whatever we have ever made just fits on this table. So from all of this I understood, right or wrong, I don't know, time will tell. They are trying to say less is more. To be the best in one thing, you have to do only one thing. Now this is known, it seems, to every professional. A doctor knows he has to do one thing well. A sports person knows he has to play one sport well. A artist knows that he or she has to follow one stream of art and do the best in that. But if you look at business people, I think they don't understand this. They think they have a magic touch, Midas touch. मैं ये भी कर सकता हूँ, ये भी कर सकता हूँ, ये भी कर सकता हूँ, ये भी कर सकता हूँ. And that is why I make the point about focus, because the first thing I learned very quickly in my career is that if we have to have a chance of being world class, of being the best of the best, not just in Aurangabad or Marathwada or Maharashtra or India or Asia, but in the world, then it becomes very important to put every man, every minute and every rupee behind that task. That is the importance of focus. Today I could understand from all of you the role that Bajaj has played in Aurangabad, particularly in more recent times. But not a day goes by when somebody doesn't ask me a question, why did you stop making scooters? Even Tripathiji asked me this question many times. Why only motorcycles? Don't you feel scared कि खाली मोटरसाइकिल बनाओगे तो क्या ग्रोथ होगी कंपनी में? And I always give them two examples, and I want you boys and girls to remember this. There are two companies in the world whose turnover is roughly $20 billion each. Not million, billion, $20 billion each. Means over 1 lakh crore. One of them sells vada pav. Its name is McDonald's. One of them sells coffee. Its name is Starbucks. Now you tell me, if vada pav and Starbucks can be $20 billion, don't you think motorcycles can be something bigger than that? I think so. So I decided, along with my team of course, we must strongly focus on one thing across the world. But there is another type of focus. To focus on many things, but in one place. Then you cannot focus all over the world. You can play 10 sports, but then you can be champion only in Aurangabad. You cannot be national champion. But this is also a very great focus. It is called a regional focus or a geographic focus. So this is where I think I would like to believe I am on the same page as Tripathi sir. When I hear about his association with 27, at least 27 different bodies, and when I heard from the opening speeches of the kind of impact he had with just a touch or a word sometimes, I can imagine how much focus he has given to Aurangabad. And let us acknowledge that a man of his ability and stature could be performing at the same level anywhere else in the country or outside the country. So I think you must tell yourselves you are very lucky to have a person who showed such focus to stay in Aurangabad for 21 years. So that's the first point, friends, about focus. The second point is about being fearless. Never fear. Aristotle said, courage is the first of all virtues. Because without courage, we cannot act on any other virtue. What is the use of any other competency if we don't have the will, if we don't have the zid, if we don't have the courage to stay with it when the times are difficult? I give you a practical example. There is one person whom I have never met. I don't know him any more than you do, but I have read a lot about him as you have in recent times. His name is Dr. Vijay Mallya. He seems to me a very courageous person. You know what I am talking about. But there is another person who I know very well because He's a very close friend of mine. And although he's 10 years younger than me, he has already achieved much more. His name is Aditya Ghosh, and he is president of Indigo Airlines. He became president of Indigo at the age of 32. Today, at the age of 39, what a great success he has achieved. So I asked myself, which kind of courage I should have? The kingfisher type of courage? The business model in which there is no business only model? Or I should have the quiet confidence, the humility, almost the silence of Aditya Ghosh. You will never see him in some over gregarious, flamboyant, over the top manner. Never. I think true fearlessness lies in silence, lies in quietness, lies in humility, not in talking, not in showing off, not in throwing your weight around. So when people ask me, are you all not scared? You are not doing scooters. No fear. No fear. You all went and acquired a company in Europe, an iconic brand like KTM in Austria. No fear. No fear. 10, 15 years back, when nobody could imagine it, Bajaj went and rationalized from 855 suppliers to 200 suppliers, some of them are here today. Even having the courage to single source items in a country where it was said it was not possible. One of the chief architects of that is sitting on my left. But we had no fear. When we wanted to specialize our front end, our dealerships, from being one dealership to becoming motorcycle dealerships, three-wheeler dealerships, now KTM dealerships, no fear, no fear. And I can tell you, Mr. Tripathi played a role not only in the back end, the supply chain, which was his forte, but as his friend just shared with us, he had all the comprehension, all the imagination to also guide us on what we were doing at the front end with dealerships. When we decided 10 years back that a day will come when we will export more than what we sell here, and we are very close to achieving that now. No fear, no fear. And perhaps the biggest moment in my career was when I decided one evening to shut down the Akurdi plant. It was unheard of. I heard of stories from the Maharashtra assembly where politicians discussed how can such a big company do this, we will not allow them to do this. And all the other kinds of, I'm sorry to say, rubbish that these people talk sometimes. But we had no fear. And the reason we had no fear was only one. And I'll tell you in the words of my Guruji, Guruji B.K.S. Iyengar, who taught me not just yoga, but he taught me about life. I asked him once, Guruji, you know, people are scared to come to you for yoga because too much pain is there. You are very tough. There is too much pain. And he told me in one simple sentence. He said, and he sat me down next to him, put his hand on me and he said, whether it is yoga or it is life, there is only one pain, only one problem, and that is direction. If your direction of standing, bending, twisting, stretching is correct, there is no problem. If the direction of the business is correct, there is no fear. And let me tell you in this context about Tripathiji. I interviewed him in 1996. Can you imagine? 20 years back, he was obviously 55. I will not tell you my age. I was 29. And as somebody mentioned, Aurangabad, or at least Bajaj Auto in Aurangabad, did not have the best industrial culture, to put it mildly. And I was extremely concerned that somebody from the outside, and that too, God help us, somebody who spent his lifetime in a company in Delhi, was going to be entrusted with our biggest plant. And I made the decision in favor of Sir on basis of only one thing. He was not afraid. That's all. When I said to him, ऐसा हो सकता है, वैसा हो सकता है, ऐसा कर सकते हैं, वैसा कर सकते हैं, मैं ये चाहता, he was not afraid. No fear at all. And I said to myself, this is my man, I'm going with him. So that is the second thing I think we have in common. No fear. The third important word for me is friendship. All the people I work with, especially the senior teams, because I don't know the juniors so well, I can say they are my friends. Some of them are here. I've known many or most of them since I joined the company. Many of the people who supply to Bajaj or who are dealers, distributors of Bajaj, I'm fortunate I can call them as my friends. And I think this friendship is very important. It is the foundation of our success. It is what keeps us all aligned in the same direction, same focus, same fearlessness. In fact, that has been our relationship at a corporate level also. Today, while there is no Hero Honda, there is no Escorts Yamaha, there is no TVS Suzuki, there is no Kinetic Honda, there is no LML Vespa, so on and so forth. But there is still Bajaj Kawasaki. Even though we were the only ones who did not have any equity in each other. And I think the reason that Bajaj and Kawasaki are still together is because of that spirit of friendship. Because I have learned that in life, mutuality, mutual interest, mutuality is much, much more powerful than any equity. And it is that mutuality of doing things together that has kept all of us together. Almost I have not lost any senior colleague from the organization. And in this context, let me tell you a little bit about Tripathiji again. Soon after he joined here, he made a big impact on this place. If I may say so, he was seen as very successful, very popular. And you know, in every organization, there are people who don't appreciate that. And I will obviously not take names, but there were senior people who came and said to me, Tripathiji to chhod ke ja rahe. Now he has become too big, too successful. He has outgrown the company. And I can tell you, as a 35-year-old, it really shook me up. Because somebody so important and so crucial for me in the management team was perhaps going to leave the company. So I don't remember exactly, but I think I asked you, sir. One day I asked you, कि मैंने ऐसा सुना है, ऐसी कोई बात है क्या? And I won't repeat what he said, but essentially he just dismissed it. This is one sign of friendship between people who are 20 years apart. He didn't think twice. I'm sure he had many opportunities, but he did not leverage anything. And a second example I will give you of a reverse, where a very senior colleague of mine who is still with us, and a very dear friend of mine also, he decided to leave the organization about 18 years back. And I worked on him a long time to say, stay back. But he would not listen. And ultimately one day I had to virtually, emotionally blackmail him. And he said, "Theek hai, main nahi jata." And then we went out for a drink and I asked him, what changed your mind? And you know what he told me? He said, I spoke to Tripathiji. That is what he said. So maybe you are not aware of this. These are two examples of friendship that come to my mind when I think about sir. So finally, there is a fourth word I like very much. It's not a very nice word. It's called fake. F-A-K-E, fake. There is a saying in English, fake it till you make it. It means that in work or in life, we are going to have ups and downs. That is guaranteed. But the question is how you deal with it, how you cope with it. Are you still standing? Are you still smiling? As a company, we have had our failures, but we are still standing and we are still smiling. Because we know our focus is correct, our direction is correct, we have no fear, we work as friends. And definitely all of you who have had a chance to interact with sir, you must have seen the same fake it till you make it attitude. Yes, it is true, he is a master of many subjects, But what is more true is he seems to be a master of many subjects. Because that is his attitude, that is his confidence, that is the positive energy he has got. And I don't know about you, but I can tell you, I've seen him serious, but I have never seen a scowl on his face. I have never seen dark clouds above his head. I have heard his voice very firm. I have never heard him shouting. I have seen him animated, but I have never seen him thumping his desk. This is a very great quality in a person, to be quietly strong, as I explained before, even when the times are tough. So, sir, with these 4 examples, I wanted to share my thoughts or feelings about you. About your focus, your fearlessness, your friendship, and your positive attitude, as I have seen it over 20 years. Now give me 1 minute to talk about Auntie. There was a lady called Mary Angelou. She passed away recently, unfortunately. And this is what she said. Mary Angelou said, people will forget what you say. आपने जो भी कहा लोग भूल जाएंगे एक दिन. People will even forget what you have done. One day people will forget what Mr. Tripathi has done. But people will never forget the way that you make them feel. आपसे मिलके हमेशा बहुत अच्छा लगता है. Thank you. Sir, thank you. Thank you very much.